Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Joy in the Journey. My name is Donna, and welcome to those of you who may be new, and welcome again to those who have returned. And thank you very much for joining me tonight. So tonight I was thinking about, I was going to go into talking about my school days. My mother, I'll just give you kind of a preview for next week because I did not have the chance to make any notes on that, and I wanted to make sure that I had all of my facts correct and everything about, from kindergarten to all the way to 12th grade, and there's a lot of things that happen and a lot of memories that I need to go over, and I've got to pick mom's brain again. So, because there's a lot of things that I probably will forget that might be significant to her. As you can see, I am still in the old wheelchair. So we're still waiting, but that's okay. One day at a time, right? But anyway, so tonight I thought for a video, I've seen other YouTubers do this before. And they make a list of the things that they like or they don't like. It's kind of like a get to know you kind of thing. Facts about me that maybe some of you don't know, and some of you will chuckle because you'll say, oh yeah, that's Donna. So I put them kind of in categories, and I put them on my regular phone. Hopefully it won't ring and get a phone call in the middle of it all. But I'm just going to go through it and read some kind of sort of hopefully some fun facts about me. But before I go on, let me just say, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions that you'd like to ask, if you have anything that you would like to see more of or less of, or give me some kind of suggestions of what you think I could do for this channel, I'm more than open to it. So please be free to share. Okay. So as I said, I did this in categories. And the first category that I wrote was things I can and have done. And I'm still not really quite comfortable yet. Let me pull up a little bit. Here we go. All right, sitting a little straighter. Swimming was one thing I always loved to do. I have not done that in a long time. I think the last time I did it was that I went swimming was in a pool. But we couldn't find an inner tube to put around me. My mom used to put me in an inner tube, one of like the kiddie ones. And of course I was a lot lighter back then. I'm not middle-aged. I wasn't middle-aged then. And so I could fit in those, and it would go around me. Let me see if I can pull this down just a little bit. A little more. Here we go. So it would go right around underneath my armpits, and that would keep me afloat. And so I loved swimming. Dancing was another one. Love dancing. Still like to dance. Dusting is something that I can do. Anything that is at my level here. And I can find ways to get around things, as long as they're not really heavy or anything like that. I can do my living room windowsill. And I like it like that because that's a feeling of independence for me. And then my aide does the things that I absolutely cannot do. And so that's one thing. Sweeping now, I don't mean the entire apartment. We have all hardwood floors here. And so, well, they're not real hardwood floor, but linoleum, I think is what they call it. And I can't do big things, but I can take out, I have a little broom that is small. It's not a regular sized, average sized broom. And I'm getting text messages. And, but I have a smaller one, and I have a dustpan that has a long handle on it. So like, let's say for an example, I dropped the canister of coffee on the floor and there was nobody around. I'm able to pick up the mess that I just made on my own in that sense. And so I can do small areas with that. I can also pick up things from the floor if I drop them. However, I do today use grippers to pick up objects from off the floor. But there's certain things that the grippers will not pick up. Like I've discovered it won't pick up paper. Try to get that to grab the paper. It's just impossible to do. But so I've learned when I was in the children's hospital, they did teach me how to hold on to the side of the chair, whether that be the arm or the seat, the back, whatever, and to safely bend down and pick it up. So I'm able to do that. Cooking, and I am able to cook. I have lower countertops and a lower stove and oven, and so I am able to do that. I am also able to do my own dishes and the practical things of every day, such as washing my hair. I can wash pretty much all of myself. My aide does help me with some parts of that. But I can dress myself and, brush my own teeth and fix my own hair and do my own makeup and things like that. I'm still able, even at 59 years old, praise God, still able to do transfers from the couch, which is right over here, or I can do it in my bed, which is over there, but it's got all of my Bible study books all over it, so it's a mess right now, so I don't really want to show you, even though it's an organized mess, but it's a mess. Um, all my papers are all over the place, so, but yeah, I can transfer to the bed, I can transfer still to the toilet, and things like that, and even at different places, and most places today, like, like, I don't want to say gas stations, but, rest areas are all pretty much handicap accessible, and also shopping centers are pretty much all handicap accessible, and I can manage those. Sometimes it's a little tricky because sometimes when you're in the stall, the toilet is hopefully on my left side, so I can transfer better that way. But sometimes they're on the opposite side, so I have to transfer in a different way. I have to transfer from the front of the seat and get on that way, but that's okay. I at least I can do two ways, right? So camping. Camping was something that was very difficult to do. It was a lot of work for my folks and for anybody else around, because it made me a little bit more dependent on other people, because of course it's not handicap accessible, at least the places that we went. But my mom and dad were very ingenuitive. Is that the correct word? They would find ways to make it happen. I liked when I was little, and even during the years, my teenage years, when we did go camping, I used to love to go and play in the sand and make mud pies with the other kids and stuff like that. And of course, in my teenage years, I loved laying on the beach, just like all the other teenage girls, in my bathing suit and just having a good time. So how do you get somebody that's wheelchair bound for the most part onto the beach in the soft, fine sand? Well, you're not going to do it with a wheelchair, whether motorized or manual. It ain't happening. So what my parents would do is they would put me in a toboggan. So our toboggan had a twofold use: sliding and getting on the beach. And so they would put blankets down on it to protect me from getting any kind of like pressure sores or whatever, and drag me onto the beach. And then we would lay out another towel onto the beach itself, right on, Mother Earth. And yeah, I would transfer from that onto it. That was also the way that my mother would, or anybody that was with me, would get me into the water at the lake. And so that was a lot of fun. I would usually end up coming out with a lot of sand in my bathing suit, but that's all right. Just have to do what you have to do to get clean and get that sand out of there. I also can drive. Back in the day, now this is also something that I have not done in a long time, and it's on my bucket list for one last thing to do before I leave this earth, and that is to go on amusement park rides. One of my favorites was at an amusement park called Old Orchard Beach, and they had this ride called the Jaguar. I got to do that before I'm too old to do it again. I really, really want to do that again. I used to love the Jaguar. And there was a few rides that they, wouldn't permit me to go on just because of one, my stature, and the fact that it really, my legs not work, not being able to work and move like everybody else is. It would have been a danger. I could have broken a leg so there were some things that, I could not do. Some of my favorite things to do, like when I'm at home, of course, I like doing my own housework. I also like to do cooking. I also like to crochet. I crocheting, I really am not, I don't feel that I'm really that proficient at it because it's not like I can make all kinds of things. I haven't learned like how to make doll clothes or baby sweaters or anything like that, but I really enjoy making like throws and blankets, bedding, covers for like cushions, pillows, and that kind of thing. I like doing that. Diamond art is another thing I really enjoy doing. It's very tedious because the little diamonds are really, small, and it's tedious, but if you get your mind in a headspace where you determine in your mind that you're going to just really focus and take your time, it can be really enjoyable and it can actually be a de-stressor. And so I do that quite a bit. I also am a very avid reader and I love writing, and I don't do enough writing. Um, and but so some things that maybe some people may know or may not know is music. Let's talk about music. I was very much into pop music back in the day, back when I was a teenager, when we would go to Circle Electric, which was um, a club. It was a nightclub kind of thing, but they had a Friday night was the teen night, so they didn't serve alcohol. And we used to go every Friday night back in, I'm going to say 80, 81, 82 maybe. We used to go every Friday night, and we had a foreign exchange student from France that stayed with us for the summer. And we didn't connect with her very much because she didn't speak that much English. She was able to connect with my parents, but even though I grew up in a French Canadian family, I lost my French when I was 3, and that was because they had to teach me English. Because I started out speaking French, but I was told that I had to learn how to speak English because the doctors and the nurses at the various hospitals did not speak French. So I lost my French, even though I took 2 years of it in high school. It was the Parisian French. So I actually did a little bit better with the Parisian French than I did with the Canadian French. But anyway, we did not connect, but she did with my folks, and that was fine. She was very nice. She was very fun. She showed me another kind of culture, um, and how, like, for an example, like how they care for their bodies is so different than from us. We women shave. They don't. And it's natural for them. And that was kind of interesting to me. It was, it was different. Um, anyway, so the getting back to the music, like I said, I was very much into pop music because I like to dance. And I liked groups like Journey, Foreigner, Bon Jovi, Whitney Houston. There was, of course, the craze of Boy George, and there's a whole bunch of others that I can't think of. NSYNC, maybe, but Journey, Foreigner, Bon Jovi, those were pretty much the ones that I really liked. And then from back in the 70s, there weren't very many groups that because I was so young, but I got introduced to, and I know that some of my relatives are going to be laughing probably because everybody used to get the biggest kick out of it because I have been, and now I'm going to say it unashamedly and unabashedly, that I have always loved the Osmonds. And of course, Donny Osmond. Oh, he was my heart. And no, I didn't think I was going to marry him either, by the way. But And no, I didn't burn his albums. So, Donnie, if you ever see this video, I'm your number one fan because I did not burn one single album of yours. And I was happy for you when you met Debbie and you got married. Besides, I was only 14 when he got married, so what chance did I have in that, right? But yes, always the proverbial, and I still am. I still love watching them. And so now, since walking with the Lord, when I recommitted my life to the Lord when I was 18, my taste started to change, because that's what the Lord does with us, is he starts to change some of the things that we used to like and replaces them with new things. And so I started to get into groups like Amy Grant, Lauren Daigle, Chris Tomlin, and recently I got into Joshua Aaron, who is a Messianic, I believe that's what he is a Christian, but he was born as a he is of Jewish descent, and Aaron Shust. And I really, really love them. So right now, they're tops. They would be number one before anybody else. Favorite foods. I would say of like international foods, it would be Mexican and Italian. And, spaghetti. And I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite. I'm not a fussy person when it comes to foods. I love my fruits and my vegetables, which is a good thing, given that Dad owned a produce company way back in the day. It would have been kind of odd, I guess, if I didn't like my fruits and vegetables. I used to look forward to the pomegranates when he would bring some of those home. Things that I love, of course, my family, my cousins, my darling sweetheart, and all our littles. And I love cats. I love dogs. I love pretty much anything with fur, except for one thing. Furry spiders like tarantulas. Ugh. I don't like spiders at all. I hate spiders. I will find sometimes they call them like water spiders, and they'll be on my sink, and they're, no kidding, right? They're only like that big. And I freak out. Honey, come and get this bug. I hate bugs. Oh, bleh. Anyway, and the very last thing that I wrote of things that I don't like, there was a lot of things that I could have put on the list of things that I don't like, but I felt like it was going to make the video too long, and it's already 17 minutes in, but it kind of gives you an idea. But one of the least things I hate to eat is getting a mouthful of soggy bread. Oh, how anybody can eat soggy bread is beyond me. When it's like been soaking in some kind of juice, like an olive oil. Here in my home state, we have what is called, for those of you that may not know, I can shut that off now. We have these sandwiches called Italians. And you can either get ham with cheese, and it comes with green pepper, onions, pickles, the long strips of pickles. And they do serve other things. We have a sandwich shop here in Maine that serves them, and has since God knows when, probably 1940 something, I think. And one of the shops just recently closed, but in another town over from us, they're still open. But Italians are like the big thing here. And so what it is like a sub, and it's long like this. It's about like a foot long. And they put cheese on one side and the meat on the other side, and the vegetables in the middle. And then they put olive oil or vegetable oil. I believe it's olive oil, but I prefer the olive oil. But anyway, they put oil on top of that, and wrap it all up for you, and you take it home and you eat it. Oh, and onions. Let's not forget the onions. And if they sit for too long, the bread gets soggy. So I sit there and I just kind of pick off the soggy parts. And if it's too soggy all the way through, well, I'll just eat what's inside and call it good. But anyways, well, this was a fun video. I hope it blessed you. Ask me any questions if there's anything you'd like to know. And in the meantime, I hope you have a blessed night and a blessed week to come. And we will hopefully, God willing, see you again next week. Good night now. Love ya. Bye. Mwah.